The first thing I learned about memory is that it is cooperative. It doesn't just recall. It protects. It softens edges, erases contradictions, fills in missing pieces with something easier to live with. Memory is less of a record and more of a negotiation. My husband had been negotiating his reality for over a year, and in the newest draft of his life, I wasn't central anymore. I was background, replaceable. His name is Leo, architect, planner, a man who believes structures fail only when something critical is overlooked. He overlooked me. There was no dramatic exposure, no suspicious text lighting up in the dark, no scent that didn't belong. Leo designed his betrayal the way he designed buildings. Clean lines, hidden supports, no visible cracks. The flaw appeared in the smallest way possible. A yellow post-it note, 2247 Hawthorne Lane, 8 p.m., tucked inside a workshop manual. He assumed I would never touch. He underestimated curiosity. That was his first mistake. I didn't cry. Tears are reaction. Reaction is surrender. Instead, I replaced the note with a blank one and began observing. You learn more in silence than in confrontation. The house was modest. Charming. Warm light in the windows. He had a key. Of course he did. Through the curtain gap, I saw her. Sasha. Auburn hair. Open expression. The kind of woman who believes love is transformative. She touched his face like he was something fragile. That detail interested me. She thought he needed saving. From me. Pain arrived on schedule. A sharp, intrusive thing. But pain is unstable. It demands expression. And expression gives power away. So, I did what architects do when they find a flaw in a structure. I studied it. Then I redesigned. I didn't want him dead. Death is simple, final, merciful. I wanted him conscious, aware, trapped inside the slow collapse of his own certainty. Phase 1, destabilization. Men like Leo build identity around competence, reliability, precision. So I began there. I moved his keys. Not enough to accuse anyone, just enough to hesitate. He'd pause, look around, blink. I swear I left them here. I unplugged the router before major client calls, shifted documents inside folders, removed a single page from a blueprint set, found it later in the recycling bin. Oh no, did I throw that away? His confidence began thinning. Subtle. Almost invisible. But I saw it. The second-guessing. The checking. The rechecking. Then I adjusted his alarm by 7 minutes. 7 minutes is enough to be late, but not enough to blame traffic. He arrived home unsettled, frustrated, unsure why the day felt off. Memory is cooperative. It starts asking permission to be trusted. Weeks passed. He began writing reminders for himself. Small notes. Checklists. As if his mind required supervision. He stopped teasing me for being forgetful. He started apologizing for snapping. That was new. Apology is weakness entering the room. Phase 2. Isolation. Sasha was easier than I expected. Lonely people always are. I became Ilera. Minimalist profile. Thoughtful captions. Obscure poetry quotes. She followed back within 2 days. We bonded over light and shadow in photography, over the way buildings feel different at dusk. She mentioned him carefully at first, then constantly. He says his wife doesn't understand him. He says he feels watched at home. Watched. Interesting choice of word. I encouraged vulnerability. Gently. What do you think he's hiding? Why won't he leave? Does he ever seem obsessive? Never accuse. Just suggest. Doubt blooms in suggestion. She started noticing things. How he checked the street before entering her house. How he sometimes seemed distracted. How he asked detailed questions about her schedule. Maybe he's just stressed, she typed. Maybe. Meanwhile, at home, I became warmer, supportive, interested in his work. I watched him while he slept, counted the rhythm of his breathing, measured the way tension held his jaw. He began waking in the night, looking around. Once he asked if I'd moved while he was asleep. No, I said. He didn't fully believe me. Good. Phase 3. Infection. Preparation is everything. I copied his hidden key weeks before I needed it. The bungalow smelled like jasmine and optimism. In his overnight bag, I placed a leather journal. High-quality paper. Understated. Convincing. I had practiced his handwriting for months. Tracing grocery lists. Old notes. Blueprint margins. Repetition creates accuracy. Inside, I wrote entries. Dated over the past year. They described watching women. Cataloging patterns. Feeling thrill in observation. Not violence. Not yet. Just proximity. Curiosity. Escalation. I included Sasha. Described her morning jog route. The way she locks her door twice. The barista, who knows her name. Details she had mentioned to me. To Alara. The intimacy of surveillance is terrifying. Because it feels possible. I wrote one entry about me. Wife growing suspicious. Must remain careful. Then I placed it beneath folded shirts. And left. Sunday night, my phone rang. Sasha. Her voice sounded smaller. I found something, she whispered. He's not who I thought he was. She described the journal like it was breathing. Like it had weight. Like it explained too much. She threw him out. Changed the locks. Said she might go to the police. I reassured her. Steady. Calm. Proud of her bravery. Encouraged documentation. Distance. Safety. She thanked me. She said she didn't know what she would do without me. That detail mattered. Leo came home pale. Disoriented. He held printed photos of the journal pages. I didn't write this. The handwriting said otherwise. The dates said otherwise. The tone said otherwise. How could I not remember something like this? He started questioning specific days. Specific weeks. Asking if I remembered arguments. If I'd noticed mood changes. I looked concerned. But thoughtful. Not defensive. I've been worried about you, I said softly. That sentence shifted everything. Because once someone believes they've been unwell, they start rewriting themselves. The police investigated. No crimes. No proof. Just discomfort. Suspicion. Suspicion spreads faster than truth. His firm suggested a leave of absence. Friends stopped inviting him out. One neighbor installed a camera. He noticed. He mentioned it. He sounded paranoid, which only reinforced the concern. He began seeing a therapist. Memory gaps. Stress. Possible dissociation. He asked if I thought he could be capable of something like that. I didn't answer immediately. Silence is powerful. I don't know, I said finally. Honest. Technically. Now he sits in the living room most days. Not reading. Not working. Just reconstructing. Trying to find the fracture point. The moment everything tilted. He reviews timelines. Replays conversations. Searches for evidence that he is still reliable. He won't find it. Because I didn't attack his actions. I attacked his certainty. He thinks he lost his mistress. His reputation. His clarity. He doesn't understand that the real loss happened earlier. When he underestimated me. He was an architect. He believed collapse is sudden. Dramatic. Obvious. He never understood controlled demolition. How you remove support quietly. Strategically. Until the structure stands. Technically intact. But hollow. Condemned. Memory is cooperative. And now his memory works for me. Because every time he doubts himself. Every time he hesitates. Every time he wonders if he could be something darker. He reinforces the narrative. Without my help. He cheated. He lied. He thought he was dividing his life. He never realized he was being studied. And the most dangerous structures aren't the ones that fall. They're the ones that remain standing after everything inside has already collapsed.